I'm using my Samsung Z Fold 6. I'm getting ready to go to a coin show in Kalamazoo. It's about an hour south of Grand Rapids here. And I wanted to respond to a comment. Catanman39 asked, where would you recommend selling the premium items in your stack? eBay fees kill that advantage. That's kind of true. Some things, not so much. So like if you buy things for some things you could use eBay, but normally I would recommend either selling it in a community. Like if you have a YouTube channel, I could sell some of my stuff to a lot of you guys would buy it. For eBay, I would recommend, like if you buy something at a coin shop for $33 in the junk bin and you find out it's worth like $133 to collectors, then that kind of absorbs some of the eBay fees. But again, you're still going to have the eBay fees. But let me show you some other stuff. I'm going to switch to an overhead view where I can show you some stuff. Let me see if I can figure this thing out. All right. So how's this for a sound quality difference? I was using the DJI mic and now I'm using the onboard mic with my Sony CX405. By the way, I've got another camera coming in the mail on Monday. I finally splurged and bought a Panasonic VX3 camcorder, which has a mic jack. So I'll have good video, good image quality, and good audio quality if I can figure out how to do it. So anyway, back to the question as far as selling some of this stuff. These modern collectibles, I guess you can call them modern collectibles. They didn't have a huge premium over the spot price when they were released, but a lot of things like this is a factory, how they came from the U.S. or the Royal Mint, two face up, one face up, two face down, or whatever it is. These you could sell in. There's places, collectible places like Facebook Marketplace. But that comes with its own security concerns. There is a place you could send it to Rob over at Mineral Exchange, and I've seen people pay maybe $1,000 or $2,000 for 1 ounce of silver if it's vintage and the right kind of stuff. Not saying that these are, but these are just examples that I picked up in Las Vegas for a high premium. But Mineral Exchange is a resource, and that's an auction house where you're actually going to get the real value of the stuff. So if it sells for $50, then it wasn't worth what you think it's worth. So you need to do your own research as far as when you purchase it. A lot of people say that you make your money when you buy things, not when you sell them. But things like this completer bar from the Royal Mint, this will just take time. I mean, over time, things get, as things go out of production and become more and more scarce, the value goes up. So also, I'm curious to see what you guys think as far as viable ways to sell things and things that I haven't thought of. So there's eBay. They got high fees, and there are scammers on eBay. You got Facebook Marketplace, which I think is a security concern. Mineral Exchange is probably the best place for super high premium stuff. If you got things that are very rare, you get the auction price. He doesn't charge the seller anything. So if I put this up for sale on Mineral Exchange, and it sells for $50 or $60, I get $50 or $60. The buyer has to pay 10% premium on top of it. So if it sells for $50, they're gonna be paying $55 for it. And that's where Mineral Exchange makes their money. They make it off the buyer, not off the seller. So that entices more sellers to go there to use Mineral Exchange. And Rob is a really good dude. I really like his. I bought a lot of stuff from him off his website. So let's see if my scatterbrain can put it all together. So Mineral Exchange, talked about Mineral Exchange. That's a good avenue. Facebook, I misspoke when I said Marketplace. You don't want to use Marketplace. There's Facebook groups. There's a PAMP collectors group specifically, and it's actually run by a member of the community, the Pamp Guru. Awesome guy, very knowledgeable about Pamp Swiss stuff. So if you got some vintage Pamp Swiss things or collectible Pamp stuff, that group is a good place to go. You just have to verify, and I would even ask the admins, hey, do you know this guy? He wants to buy this, and you collect the payment before the item ships out. There is potential to be scammed there if you don't do it absolutely correctly, and you just have to make sure you do things correctly. Otherwise, you could get scammed. But if there's people on there with awesome reputations that have other people in the community that can verify for them, then it's not too bad. eBay is kind of is good for that. But like if you buy like this for $32 at a local coin shop, the single heart, and then but you know it's worth $42, so there's $10 profit there potentially. You don't want to put it on eBay because the eBay fees will eat all that up. So, but if you bought like this a few years ago for $18, this Johnson Matthey Montana round, let's say you paid $18 for it like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, and now vintage is super popular. This is a $70 round. This is a collectible round. $70 would be a decent deal, I think, for it. And you put it on eBay, and they take whatever 15%. That's $10 off. So you still get $60. You paid 18, and now you've got 60. You got to pay tax on that because eBay will report you. So that's something else to think about. But yeah, Facebook groups. There's Reddit. There's a group on Reddit called PMs for Sale, Precious Metals for Sale. And I'm sure there's some vintage places to sell things on Reddit. Some good places. Of course, you got to make sure the buyer is verified or however they do that. I haven't done that yet. There are vintage dealers, people that actually deal in vintage stuff, specifically like Mineral Exchange. I'm actually going today to a coin show in Kalamazoo to interview a vintage silver bullion dealer. He reached out to me and thought it'd be cool to do an infotainment type video, or maybe even 2. You could start a YouTube channel like I have, and you could sell things like this to members of your community, give them a good deal. And on YouTube, there's also Silverstruck. He buys things from the community, does trades, Coin Sense and Nonsense. He buys things from the community, I think. I can't remember where he gets all this stuff. I don't know if he ever says. The Asset Stacker, he's looking for fast forward bars. He'd probably give you the real value of them. Maybe you could build your own marketplace. Is there a need for that? Maybe you could build a website where you actually become a vintage dealer, where you can actually, people could send in their bullion to you and you put it up for sale, or you could have people submit photos with the price of what they want for it, and there's security concerns there, buyers and sellers and scammers. So a lot of due diligence. So there's a lot of different ins and outs. There's places to sell stuff. It's just you have to navigate the scammers and the fees in selling them. So I would like to hear from you guys if you guys know of a good place to sell vintage gold and silver other than what I've said, or if what I said is like, no, they can't do that because that'd be dumb, or never sell it the way that I said because of this or that. So that's a really good question, because and that's why a lot of the stuff I buy, I pay for this vintage piece, I pay the same price as I do for this piece. They both look the same, pretty much the same. This one could have been minted 2 months ago. This one is from 1985. So there's a difference. But I paid the same for both of them. So this one's got a higher resale value. It's just getting the value back out of it. So let me know what you guys think. It's early in the morning. I tried the experiment with my phone to see how the sound sounds and the picture, and then I switched over to the CX405 for this part. And I guess let me know. I'm going to try and merge these two videos together and then upload them to answer your question. But thank you for the question, a really good one. And let me know what you guys think. Where would you, if you got to sell this bar, this vintage bar, where are you selling it? Let me know. Let's all help each other out. We're all in a community together. Might as well share the knowledge. Anyway, talk to you soon.